That warmth of learning the Zohar, it's not always an enthusiastic, big flaming fire. It's that warmth that demonstrates God's love.
Step into a world where wisdom meets wit. Discover Rabbi Joseph Kolakowski, the Koblenzer Rebbe, a unique blend of profound insights and lighthearted humor. Delve into timeless teachings, pop culture references, and a fresh perspective on life. Here, spirituality and everyday life intertwine, creating a space for enlightenment and laughter. Immerse yourself in the Koblenzer Rebbe's world. It's a journey worth taking. Join us, and let's explore the depths of life. Through weekly content on Torah, Hasidic wisdom, history lessons, politics, film and TV discussions, great podcast content, and much more, one YouTube video at a time. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell button. God bless.
Shalom and welcome to a special exploration of Lag Bomer and Parshas Emor with Rabbi Kolakowski, affectionately known as the Koblenzer Rebbe. In this video, you'll uncover the deep connections between the joyous holiday of Lag Bomer, the teachings of Parshas Emor, and the mystical insights of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. To hook you right away, we'll start with a surprising link between the warmth of the temple's showbread and the spiritual fire of Lag Bomer. As we dive into this meaningful journey, let's watch.
Baruch Haba and welcome everyone. Shalom. Welcome to the special video on Lag Bomer and also for Parshas Emor. So today we're going to explore a fascinating connection between the joyous holiday of Lag Bomer, which is celebrated today, Friday, tonight actually as I'm recording this Thursday, and this week's Torah portion, which is Parshas Emor, with a surprising hint, a remez hidden in the temple's showbread, the Lechem Hapanim. So let's get started. This week's Parshas Emor, we find it in the book of Leviticus, chapter 21 through 24. It has teachings about holiness, the festivals, and the sacred duties of the Kohanim, the priests. One detail that stands out is the Lechem Hapanim, the 12 loaves of showbread placed on a special table in the Mishkan, in the tabernacle, and later in the temple every Shabbat. These loaves were a symbol of sustenance, unity, and God's constant presence among the Jewish people. What does this have to do with Lag Bomer? I'll hold that thought. Let's put a pin in that. Now, what is Lag Bomer? Lag Bomer is the 33rd day of the counting of the Omer. It's a somewhat of a minor holiday, but it's a day of joy and celebration. The Omer period between Passover and Pentecost, Pesach and Shavuot, is traditionally a time of mourning, commemorating the tragic loss of Rabbi Akiva's 24,000 students who perished in the plague. But on Lag BaOmer, the mourning pauses. Why? Well, there's two key reasons. First, tradition teaches that the plague stopped on this day. But second, it's the yahrzeit, the anniversary of the passing, according to some opinions, of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the great sage and traditionally the author of the Zohar, the foundational text of the Kabbalah, the Jewish mysticism. Rabbi Shimon's life was extraordinary. The Talmud tells us that he hid from the Romans in a cave together with his son for 13 years. And according to the traditions, that's where he received the divine revelations that became the Zohar. His teachings are like a spiritual fire, illuminating the deepest secrets of the Torah. On Lag BaOmer, we celebrate his life and legacy. The tradition in Meron, where his grave is, was to light bonfires, and eventually that tradition in the 20th century spread throughout the Holy Land, and now even outside the Holy Land. Even here in America, there are bonfires. But there were always traditions of lighting yahrzeit candles in memory of Rabbi Shimon, and also it's the yahrzeit of the Ramah, the great halachist Rabbi Moses Isserles. Special hymns, singing songs like Bar Yochai and Emor Rabbi Akiva, all kinds of joyous gatherings. But that was especially true in Meron, in the Holy Land, up in the Galilee, near his resting place. But here's where it really gets interesting. After all, this week is Parshas Emor, which mentions the Omer, the counting of the Omer, the mitzvah of the counting Omer, is among the mitzvahs that are mentioned among the holidays in this parsha, but there's actually a hidden connection between Rabbi Shimon, Lag BaOmer, and the Lechem Hapanim, the showbread in this week's parsha. Now, the showbread, the Lechem Hapanim, was miraculous. The Talmud teaches that the bread stayed warm and fresh for an entire week, defying nature. This warmth reflects God's warmth, His eternal love and sustenance for His people. The rabbis say in the Talmud that the priests would show off the showbread and says, "Ru'uchi baschem lefnei makom." He told the people, look and see how much God loves you. And the sign of God's love was this lechem hapanim, this showbread. So similarly, Rabbi Shimon's teachings in the Zohar are described as a fire that warms and uplifts the Jewish soul even centuries later. It says, "B'hai chibur nafka megalusa," that from this composition, this book, the Zohar, we leave the exile, not only in the eschatological and national sense, but in the personal sense. We leave our own exiles by studying the Holy Zohar. The remez, or the hint, is just this. Just as the lechem hapanim, just as the showbread, brought spiritual and physical nourishment to the temple, meaning the priests would eat it every Shabbos and put the new ones out for the next week. So too Rabbi Shimon's teachings on Lag BaOmer, and which really sustain us throughout the year, bring spiritual nourishment to the world. Both are about sustaining the Jewish people through divine connection, but more than that, both are there to demonstrate God's love for us. The warmth of the showbread can be compared to the warmth of the mystical traditions, whether filtered down through Hasidic or Musar traditions as well, or just opening up the Zohar, the way my ancestor, the Chavos Yoyer, taught, that we read the Zohar not as an intellectual pursuit, but as an emotional one. And so the fire that we have, that warmth of learning the Zohar, it's not always an enthusiastic, big flaming fire, it's that warmth that demonstrates God's love. That you open up the Zohar, or other Sifrei Kabbalah, or Sifrei Hasidus, other books like this, and you have a spiritual experience. It's not the cold intellectual experience, but it's that warmth, emotional experience that we have through studying the works of the Kabbalah. So Parshas Emor also connects to Lag BaOmer through the mitzvah of Sfirat HaOmer, as we mentioned, the counting the Omer, which is mentioned in this week's Torah portion. The Kabbalists teach that the Omer count is a journey of spiritual growth, going through the 7 midot, the 7 attributes, the 7 lower sefirot, and preparing us for receiving the Torah on Shavuot, on Pentecost. Lag BaOmer, falling within this count, is like a burst of light in the middle of the journey, reminding us to find joy and inspiration even in challenging times. We go, if we look at the gematria of these days, these 49 days, until Lag BaOmer, we have what? Lev, right? We have the heart. Lamed Beis, 32, is Lev. And then the rest of the days, there's 17. 17 is the gematria Tov. So it's Lev Tov, the good heart. And if we include the 50th day, then it's Lev Chai, then it's the living heart. And the interesting thing is, the rabbis also teach us, is that Lag BaOmer is the day when the manna started to fall. And so this image of bread is connected very much, just as much with the showbread in this week's parsha, to the manna that started to fall on Lag BaOmer. And the rabbis say the Torah was only given to the Ochlei Haman, to the people who ate the manna. And actually the day after Lag BaOmer is the 19th of Iyar, which is Yesod Shebahod, is the yahrzeit of the great Rebbe Mendel Rimanover. Menachem Mendel Rabbi Yosef Meriman of Schusi Galeno was a great Hasidic tzaddik, and who preached every Shabbos, every week, constantly, something about the man, about the manna, and through that brought down blessings of parnasa, of financial blessings, of prosperity to really the whole Klal Yisrael, not only in his time and there in Rimonov, but even to our own time through our devotions. And just like there's a tremendous concept of lighting candles for Rebbe Shimon, so too, all throughout the year, it's a very well-known segula, a well-known charm to light candles for Menachem Mendel ben Rebbe Yosef Merimanov, and also to have him in mind when immersing in the mikveh and other things. The power of that is very tremendous, because Mendel said that the Rebbe Mendel said that the favor that you do to a tzaddik, to a saint, by lighting candles on his behalf, you cannot imagine what it is. And of course, it'll pay back by praying for us before the Almighty God. And God rewards the tzaddikim. It's not that they have any power of themselves, but God rewards our saints for all the good deeds that they did. We are taught that when you study Torah in this world, the reward is you'll study Torah in heaven. And when you pray in this world, the reward in heaven is that you'll get to pray in heaven. Of course, on a much higher spiritual level. But what about doing kind acts of charity, tzedakah, and chesed? Nobody in heaven needs anything, but we need things here. And so God blesses us in the merit of the saints, and the merit of the tzaddikim, as a reward for the righteous acts of the tzaddikim. That includes our own ancestors and family, like my Zaydi was a big Bal Tzedakah. So Lag Bomer, as we said, is that burst of light in the middle of this journey, reminding us to find joy and inspiration even in challenging times. Just like Rabbi Shimon, he thought, his life was in danger, the Romans were going to kill him, but he found a way, and God made a miracle for him, gave him food to eat and water to drink, because he hid in the cave and studied Torah with his son for those 13 years in the cave. But let's not forget Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Shimon's teacher. Despite the tragedy of losing his students, Rabbi Akiva did not give up. Remember Rabbi Weinberger, one of my Rebbeim, said the pain of losing one student, which he's experienced, was very difficult. But can you imagine Rabbi Akiva losing 24,000 students? Yet he did not lose hope. He taught new students, including Rabbi Shimon, ensuring the Torah's survival. Lag Bomer is also a day of celebration of this resilience of the power of Torah study to overcome adversity. So what can we take away from this? Lag Bomer and Parshas Emor teach us about sustenance. Physical, through the Lechem Hapanim, spiritual through Rabbi Shimon's teachings. And they teach us about God's love for us that is taught to us by these two archetypes, by the warmth of the Lechem Hapanim, of the showbread, and by the warmth of the teachings of the Kabbalah, of Jewish mysticism. They remind us to find joy even in tough times, and to draw closer to God through Torah and the observance of mitzvot. So this Lag Bomer, maybe you're going to go to a bonfire now that it's become ubiquitous all throughout Jewish communities, or maybe you're just going to light a candle. Study a piece of Torah, particularly the Zohar, which is so accessible nowadays, or reflecting how you can bring warmth and light to others. And thank you for joining me today. May the fire of Lag Bomer and the wisdom of Parshas Emor inspire all of us to grow closer to God and grow closer to one another. We can wish a very happy Lag Bomer holiday, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment, and we'll see you later.
We hope you enjoyed this content. This channel has over 5,000 videos, including Torah commentary, podcasts, footage of Jewish and historical events, and much more. We are sure you will find more videos you will enjoy. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell button, and comment. Rabbi Kolakowski often makes videos based on questions in the comment section, so you might have a video made just for you. By helping this channel grow, you are helping to spread Torah. God bless.
Hirtzion in the Mala